Wilfred, Mitzi, and Stanford.
All four of them.
That's, yeah, you are right. I was saying there's just three of you. Wow. All right, so who's got their TRM? Well,
I got a lot of writing on.
here. I can read.
One of the four probably at least.
Oh my gosh.
I told you.
All righty then. All right, so the four people in question, raise your hands, I know who you are. Keep it, no, go.
You want this too?
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Why do I need two of them?
It has less writing on it.
Let's write it.
I can actually see it. Yeah. So those of you don't know what we're doing, I'm deciding if I will sign off on these guys for this TRMs. Do the four of you feel that you're ready? You know?
I don't feel like I'm ready,
Okay. Then
but
let's
I'm gonna
find
do it
out.
anyway. Go ahead.
No, that's not. No, I mean, if you feel you're ready to go ahead and pass the board. That's what this is all about. Once those
Oh, this is
tests
the
are-
board?
No, this ain't the board. You're gonna do the
It's
board.
preparation for the board.
But I wanna make sure that you're comfortable when you sit down, when you hook up with.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm here.
Because that's exactly what I hear. Once I sign off on it, those quizzes are gonna become active, and you can take them at your leisure, ain't no hurry. So you get back 2 weeks, probably Monday, I'll drop them a note and say, hey, look, these guys are ready, let's do it. And Monday or Tuesday, you guys will get your boards. See if that's what you're comfortable with. Yeah. So let's find out. So we just go around the table. Four of you are gonna be talking. Let's start right over here to the left. Explain what you know about the Johnson & Johnson Vision Quality Policy.
To make a quality product for our customers, using safety and innovation.
Meet and exceed, customer ready. All right. You guys, would you have had a problem saying just those few words when Doug asked you that question? Are you good with that?
Yeah.
All right. Number two. Hey, you get the good one. MP 104. Hey, first off, explain the manufacturing entry requirements, and you know that will be MP 104, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's gonna be making sure that, the lab coat's completely buttoned up, wearing the proper, footwear, making sure that, that I have earplugs that will fine if I have a beard or facial hair, I gotta make sure that's covered as well. Also entering the, any one of the zones, I have to make sure I have gloves on, anything before sterilizer. And, making sure I use, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. There's one thing you forgot. Oh, there's a couple things you didn't mention, but there's one thing that's really important that you did not mention. Can any one of the three of you pick up on that?
Safe shoes?
Okay, appropriate shoes to.
No, I didn't say that.
He said
Oh, you said safe shoes?
He said,
Okay.
that's not what I'm looking for. No,
Gloves,
okay, no.
if you
No,
go.
you already mentioned that. Prior to sterilization. What can you wear to damage,
Jewelry.
That was kind of important. That's
Yeah.
a safety issue. That's the way you can get, that's the way you keep it for yourself. All right, number three, what are we on? GDP, good documentation practices.
Make sure that any documents that you do have on the floor of the current revision. If you make any changes, don't white it out, don't scribble it out, just one solid line, blue or black ink. Unless the document tells you how to structure the date. Pretty much do it any way you want. Anyone that makes a date after that has to follow your, format.
Perfect. Doug likes to stress the no gel pens.
No,
So
not
blue,
really.
black ink, no, that's fine, that's cool. Blue, black ink, absolutely. There's an exception to that, but you guys aren't likely to be red lighting blueprints. But he's sticking for the gel pens. You cannot use gel pens. Mitzi? Okay. This says, describe and demonstrate viewing and printing documents in the eDoc system. I'm not gonna ask you that one. Just to know, could give you just a brief idea that you do know how to print stuff with, MyCubus?
Yes, Daniel showed us, go to print.
Okay.
Try not to print anything if you don't have to, put your name all over it.
Don't leave it. But when you push that print button, garbage is gonna happen. Things gonna pop up, you gotta type in your, vital statistics, then you have to wait for that pop-up to show up. That pop-up's like 15, could be 15 seconds, usually about a minute, 2.5, 2 minutes later. Then you can print it. Alright, so that one's kind of a given. Alright, identify which manufacturing procedures govern all 3GT products and machines. Without looking at your document, can you give me a couple of them? He will ask you that. I guarantee you. He considers that extremely important.
Yes, look.
That's all right. Well, let's go ahead and pass this one by. I'm gonna let you slide on that one regardless, because I have trouble memorizing, but I am gonna warn you, he will ask you that. The reason that's important to him, the MPs, it's an audit hit. If you cannot tell the auditors what the MPs, especially for the line you're running. So try to throw 2 or 3 of those in your memory. If you have to get a crib note and glance down at them when you look at them, okay? I personally hate memorizing documents, but there are some that are just extremely important, all right? To Doug, your MPs, because it's such an audit hit, and it's big, it's a big knock in this system to get done. So, let's go back to the next question, still the question for you, KPIs, tell me what you know about them. Key process indicators.
Key process indicators,
Sorry. You're gonna be stressed right now. And I'm gonna help you a little bit if you struggle, but I wanna see, I wanna let you struggle a little bit first.
so you look at. Yield.
Problem, anything.
13 here.
Problem,
Yeah, not right now, we're
no.
not. Okay, KPIs, if you think about it, key process indicators are just KPIs. First hint, as a technician, you should watch your yield. But the yield is just gonna reflect some other KPIs. Does that help?
Not really.
Okay, what are you looking for in yield?
Well.
Yeah, just if you're watching your yield, you're watching that ALI screen. What are some of the things you're looking for? Please control that lens away from.
Defects.
Okay, yeah. What kind of defects?
Holes.
Okay, let's stay right there. So if you, where would holes come from? If you see it at ALI, what could cause holes? Talked about it for about 45 minutes this morning. All right, somebody help her out. What could
Yes.
cause holes?
Mold.
Okay, an issue with your mold. That's a KPI.
Yeah.
Now, what a KPI is, somebody else wanna help her out?
Problems that happen throughout the process.
Bingo. Any place in that line where I can lose product. Okay, so if you start in the front, you mentioned the mold, so that takeout arm will occasionally drop or throw away product.
Okay.
Give me another place where I can lose product.
And.
Dang, I'm thirsty.
There's a breaking room right over there. I'm gonna make some tea or big coffee. I know that.
Oh, you know what I was going
You probably have D-mold.
That's perfect, yes, that is a KPI. Where else? Any place that machine touches that product.
Hydration.
Yes, keep going. Keep going.
Record.
Yes, keep going.
Dance transfer.
No more help, keep going.
Yes, I probably.
Give me 3 more.
And. Final dose.
Yes, keep going. 2 more. Let's go up front. Injection molding was one of them, that takeout robot. What else touches that product?
Cure.
Yes, what else? One more. How do I make a lens? You gotta know how I make a lens. make a front and base curve, a piece of plastic.
Yeah, that.
A takeout robot's gonna grab it, hand it off to,
Transfer robot.
that's another one, that's 3. But just because I'm gonna keep picking on you, after I hand off that curve to that pick and place robot, the transfer robot, what's that robot gonna do with it?
So put it in the pouch,
There's another one. What's gonna happen next?
and it goes, to dose,
That's another one. What's happening next?
goes from dose, it goes to deposition.
Good enough, I'm done. You passed that question. Don't clap your hands yet, guys.
Oh, I thought that was it. I thought that was.
One, you ain't close.
Oh,
One
okay.
of you 3. Same topic, where do I find them?
What do you?
Well, the KPIs, you can find them on the manufacturing homepage.
Perfect. That is the pat answer for that question. What else?
That's all I know.
The HMI.
Bingo. What page on the HMI?
Statistics.
That's it.
Oh.
We're done. Outstanding. Next question. Back to the front.
Damn, it's my turn.
Identify which manufacturing procedures govern all 3GT. No, I'm joking. Alright, so 3GT cleaning procedures.
Okay, that's in and out, top, bottom, and then you have you gotta make sure that you gotta clean before you sanitize.
Perfect. And what do I clean with?
Lint free.
And?
Alcohol, propylene glycol. I think it's called.
was
And IPA is all.
That's a fact.
It's all-
Alcohol's a solvent.
Okay, it's some type of, oh, no, the plastic, the,
Isopropyl.
yeah, yeah, that's it. I can't remember what the damn.
Okay, so you 3 agree with that. We clean top to bottom, inside out, and we clean only with lint freeze and 70-30 alcohol.
Absorbent wipes.
Alright.
Do not
Absorbent
say
wipes,
lint free in front of the auditor.
Absorbent wipes and
Okay,
alcohol.
so is absorbent wipes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do
so
Don't
not
say
say
lint-free.
lint free in front of the
So you
auditor.
three all agree with that?
Yes.
You agree?
I thought it was supposed to be some type of, you flush it with some, no, that's when you change the
Yeah, 'cause you
election.
have like
That's
That's something
Bingo.
else.
Alright, quiet for a second, Mitzi.
We sanitize with the 70-30. We clean.
We don't clean with it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, there's a couple minor exceptions to that. The glass cleaner and the 95.5 alcohol, we clean primarily with DI water only. We sanitize only with 70-30 alcohol. We want to make sure it hangs out long enough on that surface to make sure it cleans everything.
That's why we can't clean it. Okay, you can't clean with alcohol with it.
You could, but you don't.
But it dries too quick, that's right. Mhm.
Alright, so next we are at, identify which quality procedures govern 3GT products, QP50, you need to know that, you will ask that. But that's not your question. Please try to memorize these documents, he's gonna ask you documents, I hate it, but he does. Identify, no, shit. Okay. This isn't your question again, but identify what products are qualified on each manufacturing machines. He's gonna ask you where you find that, VWA 677 and IDP 144. Your question's the next one. Explain calibration compliance.
The calibration compliance is, if I need to go ahead and fix anything with calibration, I can't touch it yet. Gotta call calibration for them to come and I'll cal it. And then I can repair it, if it is a calibrated device, then I can repair it. And then I can put it back and then they can in-cal it.
Outstanding. And how do I know if it's a calibrated device?
It has a red tag on it.
Perfect. If there's a red tag, what else do I need with it?
Usually a white tag.
No, usually, there's always.
Always.
And what's on that red tag?
Dates and also, the person who last calibrated.
Alright, zero access guardian.
Basically, we have to have everything shielded so that you can't even get a digit
Yep,
to it, basically.
perfect. And how do we make sure that we have zero access?
There's a tool that's used, I don't know what it's called,
Digital rule.
but,
It's supposed to like your hand, supposed to be like your hand or something?
Well, no, it's supposed to, be representative of the size of the.
Oh,
the typical
representative
thing.
of the size.
What it is those old seamstress rulers, the yellow rulers that sometimes are white, foot long each, and they unfold all the way out. That tool is made identical to that. It folds out, it's yellow, and all it is a stair step. At the side of the tool, little ridge, and just stair steps over. The bigger the gap is, the further you can stick that tool. If anything using that tool can reach hazardous energy, you do not have zero access. And that's supposed to emulate the size of the human digits human has. Small section is gonna be smaller than the average human figure. And if you reach hazardous energy, we are out of compliance.
I didn't see that. I can take you up on the floor, training.
Okay.
Well, I think he meant the real thing, the ruler
Yeah,
itself, yeah.
yeah, but I wanna see that too.
Yeah, you need, actually, everybody at this table.
I have never seen it. Have
needs to
you
know
ever
about
seen it?
Because once you see it, you'll know.
Seen it.
If you ain't seen it.
I know where they're at in word processing.
That's awesome, if you would, please. All right. HECPs, who we up to? Missy, what is an HECP? What does it mean, and what is it?
Yes, hazardous energy. Let you know how you turn off any hazardous energy before you leave it. And where are they? Yeah, where are they? That's a small tool.
It's, what's that now?
It's a placard on the thing.
So far, you're back to files, keep
Yeah,
talking.
What's the one?
I wanna know what they are, hazardous energy control procedures.
Yes.
I don't care if you remember the procedures, I just know what they are, and you explained say it again.
Where you would go if you have to work on a certain part of the equipment.
Yes.
Where you would turn that hazardous energy off and lock it out.
Outstanding, that's the other part I was looking for, lock and tag. Where do I find them? What are they? Or where do I go to read them? Cause it's a procedure, right?
Yes.
So procedure, we're a regulated environment, if it ain't documented, it ain't done. Where do I find it?
Trying to look on
Ain't only one place we find procedures.
oh.
Bingo. Alright, last question on HECPs, is you hit all the high parts, it's a procedure, therefore it's a document. It explains how to make hazardous energy not hazardous, so we can work on it.
Yes.
It tells us where to put the locks and the tags. And there's actually two things I want, but I'm gonna ask some of these guys, the second one. The last one I want from you is, this is important stuff you need to know for Doug. Nah, screw it. Where, well, I was gonna be mean, I don't wanna be mean, not, it would be, I expect, nothing you wouldn't know, none of you know. What part of the document does it actually tell me where I find the lever to put that lock on?
What part?
This documents in general have, indexes up front. Where do I find the actually places that I put a lock in that document? Anyone help her out? Yeah, and what's that called?
Addendum.
The document itself just tells you, hey, I'm a document, and I'm important, and I'm all about safety. The addendums are where the meat is. There's a valve called such and such, it's over here, you have to put a lock here. That's what the addendums is. They can have upwards of 15, 20, 25 addendums, depending on what you're locking out. Now, I've changed my mind, I am gonna be a prick. For you, for one of you three.
Next you warned y'all.
What's the difference between, and what's the name of the person that can work on that and the person that can't work on that?
You have yeah, authorized and effective.
Outstanding.
That could've answered that one.
Now you messed up. Authorized versus effective. Explain that to me.
The authorized person is the person that's going to work. The effective person or anybody that's in the area. Where the
Okay.
work is.
Okay, And who's gonna have a lock and tag on that
Everyone who's
device?
working on that piece of equipment.
Authorized person.
There you go, the affected person cannot look at it. Outstanding. Back around the front, where we at?
Oh, I don't, waste,
Yep, waste stream management, explain that to me.
I think it's stream where things that are not being used, waste being disposed of.
That tells us exactly where we're allowed
Where
to
we're allowed
throw
to
things
throw it
away.
away.
Liquids, hazardous material, non-hazardous material, everything. Now, how do I know where I can put it?
How do you know where you can put it?
Where I can put it? The waste stream management means we have a procedure in place that tells us where to put it. How do
Oh.
I know what goes where?
Well, there is a manual, not a manual, but
It actually is a manual in your case,
okay,
but there's, what's the
I
name-
forgot,
what's the name for it?
EGOP,
No,
no?
no. I've got a half-empty bottle of Tween, I got it corrupted, I can't put it in my machine. How do I know where I can pour that Tween out?
How do you know where you can pour the tween out?
Yeah, how do I know where to pour it? Where to throw it away at?
Well, I guess you do have a little manual so you can read up on it, so what, I forgot the name of the.
Anybody wanna help me out?
I forgot the name of the manual.
Stream map.
Waste
Stream map, map, damn it, that's it.
Where is it located for you guys?
Down to 3.
Up on the wall. In this case, it's a book. You're the only ones that has, it is a book. Everybody else is just a big old map on the wall. You guys have a book for it, which is totally worthless right now because you can't read it. But if you could, it'd tell you where you can put stuff. Alright, waste stream map, very, very important. There's a place for everything in its place. If it's part of the waste stream hazardous, what's considered hazardous, it'll have to go in a special, disposal container. Either red or yellow on the floor in different areas. Make sure you throw everything, when you throw something away, make sure it gets completely inside that box and isn't trapped by the lid. Make sure the lid's closed, yes.
There's a blue drum, dark blue drum.
Okay.
2GT.
Okay.
Is that hazardous materials as well?
Does it have a lever to pick up on it? Read it, it'll tell you. All of our hazmat containers tell you what you can put in them. There'll be a label on it. What goes in that particular one, I have no clue.
Question.
Ask.
You said Tween can go down the drain?
Yes.
Isn't that a phosphate, and isn't there a phosphate prevention program?
So.
Right, that's phosphate.
Okay.
Okay, isn't there a phosphate
I
prevention
pour
program?
down, to the best of my knowledge, absolutely not.
Okay, all right.
I don't know, so that's why I said to the best of my knowledge. If you wanna know for sure, find out.
Okay.
If you, actually, now that you mentioned it, your 3GT, find out where you can put Tween.
Okay,
2GT will be on your waste stream map, so if you want to, help them out. Yeah, find out for sure, because if I've got misinformation, I don't want to tell people the wrong stuff. Last time I checked the map, and it's been years ago, all right? So things may have changed between then and now. The last time I checked that waste stream map, I could dump Tween down the drain.
okay.
All right, next. All right, chemical labeling storage, who you got to? Impress me.
So, chemical labeling and storage, that's basically everything has to have a label.
Yep.
On it, everything has to be stored in its proper place, it
Yep.
has to have the date and the time. Not a time, I think it has to have, I think the date at least.
Some chemicals have a date because they've got a very small shelf life. Yep. But then you can go super deep into that. There's certain chemicals that have to be kept in the fridge. There's, MECDI is only good for 12 hours because it has to well, that type of thing. We don't need to go that deep.
Okay.
No, just let's keep it nice and easy. Because Doug's not gonna put you on the spot. He's not gonna expect you to have this shit memorized from that.
I wanted to ask a question about that too, though.
Ask
I'll
away.
ask later. No, I want to know why do we have that, with the metal in them bottles, and we don't even use it all, we just.
What now?
They use it like halfway.
Yeah.
Or they fill it up halfway and then.
Time. Like I said, that stuff has to be refrigerated. Go check out formulation sometime. Think of some big old walk-in refrigerators. A lot of our chemicals have to be kept at a certain temperature. They're only good for a certain amount of time. Why did they take the peg half empty and put it out there? I have no clue. When I was on the floor, we changed them out when they were empty.
Like, why would they
That's
use
the-
those big old bottles that they throw away? Why
That's
use a
what I
smaller
just
bottle?
said. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
When I was on the floor, we didn't. When I was on an alcohol line, for a while before I was given 22, we waited until that bottle was empty and then I changed it out. Why we're doing it now, I couldn't even tell you, yes, sir.
Another notable thing about storing chemicals is you cannot store a flammable chemical with like an oxidizer or something like that.
We don't care about that. We don't care about that. We've got a waste stream that tells us where we have to put it. We've got those red and yellow cabinets that tells us, right on the front of it, tells us what I'm allowed to keep in there.
Okay.
If you wanna go deeper, that's good information, but I don't wanna confuse these guys. We just don't go through that. That's like you mentioned phosphates.
Yeah.
That doesn't do this particular stuff. So, a little bit more about waste stream. Let's see, what did you say? There's a place for everything, everything is placed. We've got a waste stream map telling us where we can dump stuff. Containers, lids all the way down, handle all locked down on the big 55-gallon drums. Oh, no, we're actually chemicals right in the store.
Yeah.
So, a little bit more about that. The only thing that the chemical has to say is the name.
Okay.
Because we're safety conscious, Johnson, we also put, if it's a hazardous chemical, we also put that it's hazardous, okay? What if that label gets wet, starts getting a little bit occluded or torn?
We have to, it becomes trash, or we have to, we're gonna have to probably replace that one.
Bingo, that's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. If it's a label we can get, that cabinet, in your case, in the back airlock by TAM 23, there's a cabinet out there that has labels that's gonna be generic, regular labels. If it's something that formulation is printed, like monomer, monomer is notorious for that. The monomer gets runny and gets on that label because the label's on top of the monomer jug. If that gets messed up, you have to go to formulations, they have to print you out again. Same thing with pack solutions, that type of thing. Doesn't happen a lot. If it does, you have to throw it off. That label has to be clean, has to be legible, and if it's messed up, you, the person that noticed it, has to replace it. All right, what's next? There you go. Process Safety Management, PSM.
That's basically if you have to make any repairs inside the hydration tower, you have to use the PSM, you have to contact them first before you make any repairs.
Perfect. Okay, so, any one of those SHMs out there?
Alcohol.
There you go. Why? Why is the PSM program so important?
Because of the fumes, the burn off from the alcohol, the environmental.
That's why I have nothing to do with that, it's explosive. It's so you don't blow yourself off. And when you make, and that sounds a little bit facetious, but it's not. We had a guy set one on fire a few years back, God rest his soul.
What?
What?
He died?
Not from that, he died.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
The way you said it, I mean, think about how you said it. You said God rest his soul, I'm like, Jesus.
You said that for a reason.
He was actually a friend of mine, he's a great guy, but anyway, no, he was working on top of the SHM, did not have everything locked and tagged out properly, and that was before we had the PSM program, and alcohol ran down into that breaker. So on the side of your SHMs, you guys all noticed though that if you're facing back of the machine, right there to the right, well not that, right there to the right, there's electrical panels. That you have to have that four-way key to open up once you measure the four-way key. He was working on top of it, alcohol got into that panel, he didn't have it locked and tagged out, set it on fire. Luckily, it was just a little bit of the runoff, it wasn't a wide open valve. That would be bad. Another thing about chemical labeling and storage, there's certain spill requirements. I don't remember what the numbers are, but if you want to impress them, tell them if I have there's certain amounts I'm gonna have to have as well that I'm allowed to clean up. There's certain, when it gets above a certain amount, I'm not allowed.
Above a liter.
If for alcohol, I believe it's either 1 or 2 liters. I didn't want to say because I can't even know for sure, but that you need to know that about it as well. Chemical spills. There's rules to when you can and can't clean it up without calling who you have to call. The spill responder. Yeah, spill response team. Where do you find those phone numbers?
Right, and that should be over.
What number are you gonna call?
444.
Yes.
Yeah, 444.
Just keep down.
Alright, next.
I saved it in my head.
Alright, now it's just gonna be a round table, but you're up first. Tell me something about one of those screens on the HMI. Pick one and talk about it.
Oh. Let's start with the operations.
Hell yeah, go for it. what can you, do and know about the operations page?
Well, shows you all the zones, you can select them all, which I don't wanna do that. You
Oh,
select
eventually
them
you
all.
will, but
Right now, no, I don't.
Perfect. What else, what happens, why do you personally not wanna highlight?
Because if it's all selected and you hit cycle stop.
Perfect.
Just stop everything.
Perfect. A little bit more?
When y'all wanna unselect things, you can look at each zone, if you have a fault.
What do you see if you have fault?
It'll flash in the middle, it'll say fault, or it'll say needs home, or it'll
And
take.
some areas gonna turn red, that's what I was
Yeah.
looking for right there. If you have a fault in the zone, it's gonna turn red. And if it does fault out, what's gonna change other than that red field?
You have a button at the bottom where it'll
That's all I
say
want.
alarm.
You're done. Pick a page, tell me about it.
Maintenance page? Maintenance
sorry?
page? Maintenance,
Okay. What can you find, see, do on the maintenance page? Oh, one last thing too, about the operations, you can start and stop cells. Start, zones, sorry, go ahead, sorry.
You find all the, you have the different zones there also, but you also find particular, pieces of, like sensors and solenoids and everything there. If it's going, if there's a fault there, it'll illuminate red also. And then
Perfect.
you can actually click on it, and then it will expand the area in which you actually clicked on.
Zoom in on it.
And
I'll
zoom
stand
in.
it. Perfect.
And, then you can, cycle, also there too, and I think at that
You
point.
can't start and stop, no.
Okay.
You can't
well,
cycle start or cycle stop the line from that particular cell.
okay.
But there is one thing you can physically do there and make happen on it. Remember what that was? All that hardware we were looking at?
There's something else that you can do at the, just by looking at it?
No, I mean, there's something you can physically do, something you can physically make happen, you have to touch it, you can't just look at it.
We gotta touch the screen for us.
Okay.
I don't know what else you're talking about.
Does anybody know? Remember what I said?
Positioners.
Yeah. You can move hardware, you can, if you got.
Well, that's what I meant by saying that you can cycle it up and down.
Oh,
That's what
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I thought
thought it
you
was
said
something else.
cycle stop.
No, not cycle stop.
No,
I was
all
saying
right,
up and
you're
down,
right, never
like
mind.
cylinders and
You
stuff
got it
like
all.
that. Yeah.
But there's one thing one specific thing I had to do to be able to do that, do you remember what that was?
I didn't hear that question. You said it so fast. I didn't.
There's one of the things there's something you have to do in particular to be
Okay.
able to manually cycle those cylinders or servos. You remember what it was?
Do you have to be in a certain state?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm trying to remember home state.
Yep, sometimes they're called need home state,
Mhm.
but most of the HMIs are labeled as maintenance mode. If you wanna mess with a manual jog a cylinder, that's, you're doing it because you're doing maintenance to it. So you have to put it in maintenance mode. And I'm not gonna put you on the spot, make you tell me how, but I'm gonna tell you. To put it in maintenance mode, you have to cycle stop and halt that zone. And then there's a pop-up top left-hand corner of the maintenance page for that section. That'll become highlighted at that point. Prior to cycle stopping, it's grayed out, you can't see it. Once you cycle stop it, you push that button and you can play with cylinders and servos all day long. Outstanding. You're done.
The tracking page.
Okay,
That page will allow you to track any one, pallet, basically from start to finish.
Mhm.
Whether it's front curve transfer, where it is in the hydration towers,
Outstanding.
all the way till the end.
Okay.
Tracking page, yeah, pretty much track.
Okay. Is there any information I can get off that page?
You can get a lot.
Perfect.
Lot
You're
number.
done.
Yeah.
Oh, no, one last question, and this is actually pretty important. Most of those pages are gonna be shadowed green. What does it mean if you see a different shade of green, side by side?
Either means the pallet is empty, or, the pallet is not good or bypassing.
Okay, that's gonna be red or gray.
Right.
But I've got two different shades of green.
Oh, it's a different lot.
Awesome, perfect, you're done. You're up.
The order entry.
Outstanding. I was gonna assign it if you didn't get it. Tell me about the order
Basically, you can put like, when you're changing lots, do your line.
That's it. Order entry is the page that is all about lot changes. So, what can you do on that as a technician? and you actually said it, you just didn't realize you said it. What's the main thing you're gonna do on that? This is all about your lots, yeah, there you go. If I wanna do a lot change manually, the machine itself for 3GT only will automatically start the next lot. It's not gonna do the physical stuff you have to do, like changing cassettes or anything, but it's gonna take that top line and move it up into the staging area on your HMI. Then you go and do what you do as a technician. Hate asking this because you probably haven't, but is there anything else you do on, well, as a technician, well, this one you do need to know. Why is it near the end of the shift, you wanna pop up that, not you, sorry. You wanna pop up that order entry page and look at it? What are you gonna do to hook up day shift or night shift if you have to?
Are you referring to an audit? No.
Nope. You as new technicians, there's a lot of stuff, you're gonna be doing a lot of grunt work. The lead on the line, he's gonna be doing paperwork and CMS entries, all kinds of other garbage. You're gonna fill up the thermometer, you're gonna sweep around the floor, you're gonna change out the absorbent wipes, and you're gonna do this. It involves lot changes and the order entry.
Oh, set up the next lot.
Go, expand on that, exactly right. What am I gonna do? What do you mean by that?
Put all the lot information in.
Yeah, it's already there. The, the planners have already done that. They programmed that software. One of you three wanna hook them up?
You wanna set.
Say again?
Stage next set.
Yeah. The next cassettes, you would make sure they have, enough of the cassettes for every lot in there. That's one of the top things you wanna do as a technician. When you're ready for your lot change, you need to pop that, open up that, look, find out what cassette is next to make sure you have it. Otherwise, you'll have to punch out of that lot, once it pops up there, you'll have to physically go in there and push the lot change button to get out of that one, because you don't have a cassette. It's your job to go and get the cassettes, bring them back and have them staged for the next shift. So-
There's one question I never asked anybody
Sure.
down there about that, is, sometimes your lots, what we have like different amounts, right? And sometimes, from what I hear, they don't like to change their lots out a lot. Like in other words, they have we got a lot that's running like 5,000 parts of this, and they continuously change parts, and it drops down to the element. So do those lots, they are pre-programmed into the system where you can't skip, you know what I'm going, right?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's ways to pad your numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that's a.
And the old software, with the exceptions of TAM 21, TAM 22, TAM 23, and all the new stuff, they can only be, there's no way to not do them in order. But what, do as I say, not as I do, what occasionally happens, technician will say it's running poor, I'm gonna punch out of it, I've made a decision to punch out of that lot. And he'll punch out of it, go to the next lot that he knows is gonna run well. Don't do it.
Well, this is what I noticed, they will come ask you. Why
Yeah,
is
sure.
that lot not
Cause
running?
I haven't, that's why I haven't asked anybody down there yet.
You can
But,
punch out a lot.
one more question when it comes to that.
Ask away.
Would something like that, if the lot's not running well, would you put that in CMMS also?
Hell yeah.
So that means that there will be a documentation to show that you.
Absolutely.
Alright.
See, CMS, if I led you to believe this, then I kind of misled you. CMS, when we're talking about emergency work orders,
Mhm.
they're not just because I broke a cylinder. They're not just because I need to replace a sensor. They're not just because I had a bunch of jams and I had 20 minutes more of downtime. CMMS is how we document that we have issues and that we do things. I've opened and closed a lot of CMMS work orders and I put 1 minute for it. Because I wanted to document that there was something going on. And it didn't stop the machine, but this is happening. There will be a lot of times you'll open up work orders without that. So yes, you will. If I have to punch out of a lot, well, you better believe I'm gonna document it. I'm gonna explain exactly what my thinking process is to do that. If you go on that line, if you wanna punch out of a lot, punch out of a lot. It's just like anything out there you do, make sure you've got a justifiable reason for it. Don't punch out just because this is a high minus and it's gonna run like crap, but I'm not gonna run it.
That's, I wanna make sure
To
that
finish
you have
entry.
out here and stuff.
It happens, you
Okay.
don't want to do it. There are many reasons to punch out a lot, legitimate, acceptable reasons. Don't do it just because you wanna pad your numbers. Now, with that said, and let me finish explaining this as well, I mentioned the 10, 21, 22, and 23. The new software allows us to pick and choose what lot we wanna run. Same thing goes. Production planners put those lots on there because we need that product, and they put it up in the order we need them. So if you arbitrarily punch out not punch out, if you arbitrarily skip a lot, you can scroll down and highlight any of those, in the top right-hand corner, you, put the password in there, and it's gonna be a standard password for everybody on the floor. Now, what's on the floor is Tech and Tech 1. Once you log into that, you can change the order of those. Just highlight one, and the next one's gonna pop up once the lot change happens. Legitimate reasons for it. I mean, in my case, when I think I told you before, my line was fairly, it was only less than a year and a half old when they gave it to me. We didn't have a lot of cassettes. So I had no choice but to go in there, and I would have to pick the order of which I ran stuff. That's perfectly acceptable. If you, times you might punch out a lot, once again, order entry screen, you need to know this. If you have a scratch cassette, say, once you do your lot change, you check your cassette, you all stick it under a microscope, the curves, and if I've got a scratch on the critical side, I'm gonna punch out of that lot. So as technicians, and this is what I have to do, you're gonna need to make sure you have enough cassettes for that next shift to run the entire shift on. If you're on a line, if you happen to be lucky and not on a line running 30,000 lens lots, you love life. You only have to bring back 2 cassettes. Alright, so, who's up next? Can you give me another screen?
Oh.
There's only a couple more that you really need to know. You think of another one? And if you think back to your last question prior to screens, you got it. What was that question you struggled with just a little bit? And you finally got it once I pointed out what it was? What was it? Just, you only struggled on one. You pretty much given me everything I wanted and everything else. What was it, guys, remember?
Does she struggle? I try to remember what people struggle on. Not you.
Yeah, it's my job, unfortunately. KPIs.
Oh.
Remember you had trouble with the key process indicators, KPIs? Can you tell me what is there a screen, then you already told me earlier that there's an HMI screen that will show those. Actually, you didn't, I told you, but anyway. Do you remember what it's called? What you can do on it?
Statistics.
Is it? Yes, that's it. It's the statistics screen.
Look at stuff.
Well, you can look at your loss.
Oh, you're looking for patterns.
That's gonna be the ALI.
ALI, that's right.
The
Okay,
statistics
I'm
page,
thinking-
you're just looking for things that you ain't making enough of. Just like, the statistics screen is the page that reflects the KPIs page up on the manufacturing homepage. That page can tell you all those devices.
That's the one that shows, and it shows the hours.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. How much you made for every hour, how much you made for the shift, previous shift, and you can go down to one of those other tabs, and it'll actually tell you what your loss is at all the different KPIs. How much, and it's in percentage of loss. It'll be negative -3%, minus 4%. If it gets up above about -0.3%, if you're losing more than 3% at any individual KPI, you've got a problem, you need to track down and fix it. We don't like that number to get much higher than 0.3%. Alright. Does anybody wanna take a shot at the last screen? I don't think I've ever shown this one to any of you, so if you do, you will really impress me. There's other ones down there, but the last one that you
It's about
just
6 or 7 of them, isn't it?
Oh, sterilizer one.
Outstanding, perfect. Sterilizer page. What can you do on that page?
You can view the pressure, you can see what state it's in, you can view.
You can do a lot of stuff. Open and close valves if you ain't careful, so don't do that. Good. What's next? Information, sorry. Okay. Who are we up to? Okay. Explain to me how I can start and stop the zone 2 different ways. Actually,
Oh.
3 if you count the full current.
Alright, you have to, you can press the yellow button.
Oh, don't push the button.
Yeah, the yellow, the yellow button. The yellow button blinks, and then I think it becomes solid. Then you can press the blue button.
Perfect. So what's that blinking yellow light telling you?
That everything is purging, or it's going to a home ready, like a safe.
Then don't use the term home here.
Okay.
It's going to, you're just finishing this moment. It's
Okay.
going to a known, safe position.
Yeah.
So what happens when I push that blue button?
You able to open the doors after that? I mean, everything is.
You're right. What's happening when I push that blue button?
I forgot what happens.
Help out somebody.
Movement hazardous
There
energy.
you go.
Oh.
We're halting the zone by pushing the yellow button. Actually, I think it's vice versa. There are different labels out there. We're cycle stopping the zone by pushing the yellow button. We're stopping it and blowing it down by pushing the blue button. Even though we don't document that we have positive pressure in there, we have positive pressure in there. We have dump valves. The dump valves will take that positive pressure off when I hit that blue button. So we're taking any hazardous energy. Any vertical cylinders are gonna get locked using the, yeah, what's that called? I can't remember. I was having trouble with that word for some odd reason. Anyway, there's brakes on there that allows the cylinders to remove hazardous energy. Does not, however, remove power, so be careful about that. How do I start it back up?
I don't start it back up.
I just stopped 5B. I just stopped 5B. I fixed the problem, I won't start it back up. What am I gonna do?
I think you go to HMI and then you hit the whatever zone that you in, hit it, and then cycle, hit it, move your hand. That's what he's doing. The only thing they do is hit it, and it's bam. That's all he's doing.
I told you about that.
Yeah.
Every time you see that, you're gonna think of me.
Yeah.
And in your case, not a damn thing happened.
Oh, shit. Then nothing happened? It
Nope.
made it happen for them.
They did something else first.
They did something else? Did they hit those, the button again?
That you can do that, you can reset it just as easy over there as you can over here. But once again, you can hit that button all day long too. The yellow button anyway. Does anybody here know anything about switches, push button switches? Momentary versus permanent? Momentary push buttons.
Only way you're holding it, it's gonna
Perfect.
make contact.
That yellow button's a momentary push button. The other one's a true toggle. You gotta lift it off.
Okay, so you got me on that.
You can push that HMI all day
You
long.
gotta disengage the gun stop.
Davey hit the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Watch them there go
This
back.
is what they doing. And then it starts back up. I be like, okay.
Yeah.
That's how you start it back up. They go, they say,
That's the way to do it.
this is what they say.
There's one or two lines out there of communication between the PLCs.
Yeah.
Remember, you got 5, 6, 7 PLCs talking to each other up there? And it also has to talk to Wonderware, Windows, and 3 other pieces of software, Allen Bradley, Siemens, whatever it has. There are a couple lines that have some really old hardware that it will occasionally time out if you just push it once. Most of those lines out there, push reset, push run. That's all you gotta do. Me, I was on a brand spanking new line, that's all I ever had to do. I did this. That's just, you're just gonna do it. Alright.
I've asked that question, why are you doing that?
He
Habit.
said, that's what he told me. I said, you guys did that every time? He said, yeah.
Damn fine, yeah.
They just don't have patience.
So, line 12 and 2GT, I don't know if any of y'all are 2GT or not, but why did they not change the color of the buttons instead of the size?
Question.
Cause that's the dumbest shit I think I've ever
Good
seen in my
Yeah,
life.
everyone always hits a freaking e-stop on the
Yeah.
line 12.
Good question.
And it'll
I
shut
don't
the
have
whole
seen it.
line down.
The red button on line 12, unlike the red buttons on the other 11, is a true emergency stop. I could not work in 2GT for that reason. Because in my world, hitting that red button is panic mode.
Yep.
And I would just freak out every time. I wish I knew.
I don't know.
I don't work that way. It happens on a weekly basis.
I don't know why they didn't make one yellow and make the red, the actual stop,
Yeah.
red. They made them both red. But,
Yeah.
Oh, they both red?
Oh yeah.
They're just
oh, yeah.
different sizes.
They're just one's like this big.
They ran out
the
of
other
yellow
one's like this
buttons.
big. Yeah.
Was a mini stop and a big stop?
Take, no.
And they're literally they're this far
It's
apart.
awful.
Oh, you
They're
can make a
two foot
mistake.
apart.
Awful.
You can make a mistake with that.
Everyone doesn't like them.
And the designs, the Arbor, you know, we got the Arbors, that's
Oh,
also
no.
Sumitomo injection molding machines out there. Why in the world, Arborg is the one that goes up and down, it's got
Right.
two staging areas, one on the left, one on the right. Well, that left staging area where you can change cassettes at, right here is an e-stop.
Oh.
Of all places to put an e-stop, 3 inches from your elbow, when you're changing out a cassette, you hit bam, it happens.
But, well, I would say you can't
15
go
minutes
door
later,
on
you
top
might
of
get
it,
the
but then
Can't do
that
that?
kills
That's-
the idea of the e-stop.
That's a
yeah.
safety violation. All right, moving on. Oh, yeah, the other way. You mentioned the way, one way I can cycle stop on a line is push that yellow button, wait for it to stop blinking, push the blue button, blowing it down. Lift the blue button, highlight the part you missed on here, highlight everything that's not already green. Because when I blow down 5B, I'm gonna blow down 4, I'm gonna blow down 6 as well. I will blow down 5A also. So I have to know to highlight all of them, otherwise it ain't gonna run. I mean, it'll run, it ain't gonna do anything because some of the other zones ain't running. It'll start up 5B by itself. That's why you wanna highlight them all to make sure you can start them all over. Now, the last thing, what's the other way I can cycle stop a line?
The other way. That's the only way that's the only way I know.
You go.
I thought I already said that.
No, it didn't say you started up. How you stop it?
Oh, okay. All right. I'm thinking.
You can stop
okay.
it. And that's why you said, I'm not gonna highlight everything highlighted green. That's the reason.
Okay.
If I've got everything highlighted green, I'm talking with you guys right here, a week out on the floor, it's gonna go away anyway. You're not gonna be afraid of that HMI anymore, I guarantee you. But the first week you will be. Right now, I want you to. The reason you unhighlight everything before you start playing with HMI is so you don't accidentally cycle stop the zone. Alright?
Isn't there one page though that it doesn't matter what you do, it's still gonna, if you press the button?
Process.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember.
That was the other one that I consider very important. Process screen, those are switches, just like the switches screen. It will not ask you if you're sure. If you push the button that says nitrogen or N2O2, you just purge nitrogen from your tunnel. And that's a 5-minute process, and a little bit longer than that to get it fired back up, plus everything that's in the cure tunnels, you just got tagged red, and it's gonna get thrown away.
Okay.
Avoid the process page like the plague. Unfortunately, with that said, you have to be familiar with it. Because if you want to fill your monitor, that's where you get to the little picture that shows you how, as you fill in your how full it is. If you want to look at your MP values, it's on that page. So you have to be familiar with that screen. But you just have to just be careful. It's not, none of this stuff, none of this shit's rocket science. Just be careful when you mess with it. All right. Oh, and this is on here, so I'm gonna ask another thing from the mold change screen, the order entry page. You can actually click on a button and see what molds are installed.
Right.
And he likes to ask that question too, just to give you a heads up. You can see what molds are running.
Yeah,
Plus-
Yeah.
Cool.
But you enter that, right? When you do your lot change, you'll enter your mold number, right?
No.
Oh, wait. Well, there's numbers on the cassettes,
Yes.
and those get entered.
No.
They're already there, and you just make sure they
Yes.
match. Okay, alright,
Yes.
alright.
All right, two things, all right. You asked, I'm gonna go into it. Once again, the software on the HMIs, the newer software versus the older software. The newer software, CAM 21, 22, and 23, you can put any cassette in that IMM as long as it's the right prescription. Because we're gonna have 2 to 4 copies of every cassette out there. The older software, production planners, assign a cassette to that lot. You have to put only that serial number cassette in there, okay? You're gonna know if you put the wrong one in there, the reason your question was completely incorrect, that RFID chip in that mold,
Right.
that when you could put that cassette, there's a little deal about this long, a little bit bigger around than my finger. There's gonna be a little hole in that side of that cassette, it's gonna line up with it. That's an RFID chip in the cassette. The Wonderware software, the PLCs, are gonna read that cassette, and if it doesn't match up with what the planners have put in there, you'll never carry product over. It'll come up, it'll sit there and cycle, open, close, take out, robot, take out, robot, take out, robot, it's gonna throw it away every single time. It will not hand off to the Mitsubishi to be played, or sorry, I stopped that. We use two different kind of robots, not just Mitsubishi. It will not hand out off to you pick and place robot. Yes?
So it will not tell you at the HMI, hey, this is the wrong cassette, you're trying to make the wrong product?
It just won't carry over. That IMM will sit there and make plastic all day long. It's just gonna throw it away.
You just gotta make sure you either.
Yeah, and it's not, it's not a big deal. That's what you need to know about order entry screen, is gonna give you that cassette number. You basically just put that cassette in there. It's that simple. Okay,
That may not, I get where I'm screwing up now, cause he showed it to me and I just, it wasn't making sense,
No,
now I get it.
ask, and it's, over time, it's gonna make a lot more sense. As of right now, it doesn't. Alright, you're gonna have to get this one on your own. Has anybody asked the question about the, nitrogen screen? How do I blow down nitrogen? What'd you find out?
To blow down the nitrogen is when you go to the maintenance screen, N2, O2 layout. On the old HMI, I think, that one, and that's where you would be able to actually.
Outstanding, perfect. Try to remember that if you haven't had a chance to see it. If not, try to ask somebody on the floor to hook you up. What about, alcohol, if you have an alcohol line?
You have to
Have to
go,
find that one.
you have to actually click the, on the operations screen, you have to actually click the page, where it shows the towers.
The icon.
The icon for the towers, and it says
Perfect.
on the left, manual flush.
Manual flush, there you go, outstanding. And we already talked about manually operating cylinders and servos, put it in maintenance mode, pop them all day long, once you stop the cell. Okay, guard door switch screen, I really hate going this deep into it, but it's on this page, on this document, so you have to know where it's at. You know? Ooh, cool, let's tell me.
So on the alarm page,
Yep.
you would have to click, I think, historical or something like that, or it's on the left-hand side. So when you click the warning page, it'll show up on the bottom and it says, it'll say guard door, alarm screen when it shows up, and it'll actually show you like.
That's actually outstanding. It's, your geography's a little off.
Right,
You have to go to the alarm page, not the warning page.
okay.
Off to the left, that's good. What you're talking about, the left-hand side of the operation screen, those two little, indicators on top of that square thing with words on it.
Yeah.
You get to the warning page from there.
Okay.
You can actually get to the alarm page from that page once you get there. The bottom right-hand corner, the one that turns to the word alarm, if you have a fault, that's the one you wanna click to get the alarm page. If it goes to the warning page, then there's a button that says alarm, please click on alarm. Now, once you're there, that's gonna have a bunch of stuff in the bottom middle of the HMI, a bunch of little square buttons. That's where you find those alarm pages. It's on the alarm page, and it's, other buttons. That's where you find the door switch, indicators. That's where you find the pull cord indicators. That's where you find the link to give you your, breakers that are tripped out throughout the line. Important screen to know, if you will ask it.
I haven't seen this one yet.
Yeah, have somebody show you, just have somebody show you the door, the pull cord or the ball, whatever you have to remember. It's just a bunch of switches on the bottom right-hand corner of the alarm screen. Actually, it might be on the left-hand side now, to think about with the old software. On the newer software, it's on the right. So you might be, I've been correct, you might be right. Maintenance, already talked about that, subject to process. I'm not gonna go any deeper in the process, you know what it is. It's how you turn, process parameters like heat, nitrogen, that type of thing. It's how you turn them off and on. It's also where you see the indicators for your monitoring mode. It's where you see a better, layout of your N2O2 screens. It's where you find your process parameters, that type of thing, your MP values. Alright, RMT, whose turn is it? Alright, as a technician, what does RMT mean to you? Do you know what RMT stands for?
Raw materials.
Perfect. Raw material tracking, not just raw materials. Raw material tracking. So as a technician, why do you care? What do you care? Do you care?
I need to know how much of what that I have, so I can keep making measurements.
Perfect. In a big way. I need to make sure if I'm getting low, I have, another batch staged and ready to go. What else? There's 2 other times you can be involved with it.
That's one of my orders.
Outstanding. When you do your walk around at the beginning of your shift, you wanna check all your raw materials. You wanna verify the batch numbers, so it makes it easier when you do the part 3 that I'm gonna ask you about. But you also wanna make sure that if you have stuff staged, it's the right stuff. I have come out and found foil, cartons, and packing solutions staged for, that wasn't for my line, not often. And never at the same time, but I have, at different times I've come in and found the wrong foil. Sitting on the roll right there in front of my line, because we used to have a holder right there that we put that roll of foil waiting for, because it's right there beside it. So you wanna, you wanna do your walk around, make sure okay, you've got the right, you've got enough. And finally, when will you interact or care about R&D?
Lot change.
Perfect. Next, now, that raw material, lot, he's talking about that raw material lot change. I just had a lot change up front. I changed out a cassette. I've done my inspection, I've taken it under a microscope and made sure there's no scratches. Raw materials. Just had a pop up on the HMI, what am I going to do?
I'll check and verify that the batch number.
Outstanding, perfect. So, now in that front end lot change, what are my 3 raw materials that I have to verify? Just think about the part of the machine I'm on.
Resin.
Bingo. Front curve resin, base curve resin, 2 different verifications. And finally,
Tomorrow.
outstanding. How long do I have to do that before the line falls out?
Not sure about that one, because sometimes, you know, they take a long time to do those checks.
You better not. Anybody help her out? 15 minutes. Exactly 15 minutes. The front end of your line will fault out if you don't make
Everybody
that.
seems like a long time, because for me, I feel like when it pops up, you should do it right then.
More times than not, you're gonna find that most of the time it's done by somebody else. If you got 2 people on, we're just super short-handed right now. Most of us, if I'm doing a lot change up front, somebody else is gonna do that pop-up for me. That's just the way we do it. Same thing goes, if, I'm doing it, if you're doing it, I'm gonna pop it. I've had other people from other lines come up and, okay, I'm gonna pop it in for me. It just happens. Alright, next, lot changes hit the middle. 5B. What you gonna do?
Lot change in the middle.
The lot change just moved from the front of the machine to the middle of the machine. And I have pop-ups, I have all kinds of stuff happening. Tell me, you know what, think about it, cause I got people. And don't ask questions, no way help them.